The next stage I want to talk about are some of the items that are necessary as well when you're starting your first cooking as a single parent feeding a family of 4. I have here cutting boards. Now, why are they important? Well, you're going to do a lot of cutting when you're cooking on your own, and the reason why I'm holding 2 is that you at least need to have two separate cutting boards. Now, why do you need 2 cutting boards? Well, when you're cutting meat products, beef, pork, chicken, fish, you need to have that board used completely separate from the board you're going to be cutting your vegetables and your fruits and your everyday countertop. It's just a matter of just health and safety. I know it sounds silly and trivial, but it is vital to have a healthy family, and especially when you're cooking with your single dad cooking lessons, you need to have at least 2 separate cutting boards. I have 3, but I'm just sharing with you. The size is not important. This is your standard. This is an 8-inch cutting board. It's red. It stands for the meat board. I only cut meat items on this, and I keep it very clean. And again, it is temperature treated, so it can go right in my dishwasher, and I make sure I sanitize it with the sanitized setting on my dishwasher. Same thing goes with my vegetable cutting board, an everyday cutting board. That one stays separate. I do not cut any meat products on that vegetable fruit cutting board. So that's just food for thought in terms of keeping your family safe and healthy from any bacteria that it could pick up when you use just one cutting board. So other people like to use the wooden ones. Certainly okay with the wooden ones in terms of just using that for fruits and vegetables. I don't recommend a wooden cutting board for your meats just because the wood is porous and you can absorb the blood and the bacteria that's being used on the cutting meat. So just remember that. If you're going to use a wood cutting board, keep it towards the fruits and vegetables and not the proteins and meat products. Another one is I've had a suggestion is, what about glass cutting boards? The only problem with the glass cutting board is it's going to wear down your blades, and unless you have a blade sharpener, you can really go through some knives very quickly when you're using a glass cutting board. So I don't recommend the glass cutting board. I do recommend the plastic, the polyurethanes that are temperature treated, that can go into a dishwasher or high heat exposure, such as your microwave, etc. So these are the items we're talking about, which are the everyday feeding a family of 4 utensils and equipment for the single dad cooking classes. Now, I have a couple more items to go over to get us started. A timer. Believe it or not, we all need to be keeping track of our time, especially when we're feeding a family of 4, and if we have any dishes that are time sensitive. For example, rice dishes, when you don't want to overcook your rice. Getting an everyday timer, it's just a minute timer, it's perfect. And I highly recommend getting one. They're inexpensive, and trust me, you're going to need it. This little gadget has been a lifesaver for me, and it is called a hand blender. Now, what makes this hand blender unique is, because it's mine. No, not that. What makes this hand blender unique is it separates. And this goes in the dishwasher, and this does not because it's got the electrical motor on it. But what makes the hand blender so important in my everyday cooking is you never know when you need to quickly blend something. Getting out a regular hand blender is with the larger hand blender, you know what I'm talking about. This is just such a universally handy tool to get. Shop around, make sure you get the kind that's detachable. If you're not getting the one that's detachable, always, always, always run hot water on it after the use. Keep it plugged in, point it down, put some hot water on it, and let the blades run through the hot water. This avoids the junk getting stuck in the blades, and the motor can burn out very quickly. So this is very important to keep your equipment clean, as well as using this hand blender. Keep the blades clean. Run it under hot water. Of course, this detaches. It goes into a dishwasher, and it's just a great universal tool, especially if you just don't want to do any hand mixing or hand blending. Of course, it goes without saying you got to have measuring cups, and These are my everyday measuring cups, and again, they usually come in a set, and they're fairly inexpensive. Doesn't matter if you get the regular steel ones that I have here that are all fancy, or the everyday plastic ones. You gotta have that measuring cups, as well as, what are these? You know what these are, right? Okay. Well, I don't need to explain it anymore, but what's important is you need a measuring cup, a large one, which is this glass one, or a small one. I would say as long as it covers 1 cup, 1 quart measurement, that is great. This is a 1 quart size. This is actually just under a quart size. This is plastic, this is glass. Again, it's a matter of preference in terms of what your budget can afford, but I recommend you gotta have one of these measuring cups. And I almost forgot. Measuring spoons. You never know when it comes to the recipes that you're going to follow that I'm going to require you to have some measuring spoons as well as the measuring cup. And this kind of marks off just the fundamentals of stuff you're going to need for utensils and kitchen essentials. We got the cutting boards, we've got the spatulas, the spoons, the knives, we've got the mixing bowl, we've got the colander, which is the strainer. Got to have ourselves a grater, got to have the mixing cups, measuring spoons, a timer, and a handle. These are the single dad essentials to getting yourself started and getting your kitchen equipped right.